Welcome back, everybody, to Instruments of Destruction, Arkane Infinity. Today we're going to cover the layout editor and the structure editor in the editor section in Instruments of Destruction. Okay, so inside the editor's hub, as of yet, we don't have the ground editor. Coming very soon. We have the layout editor and we have the structure editor. Now, quick overview of the structure editor. I don't think many of these things will change. That's why we're doing one now, but understand there are more things to come to this editor mode, and there will more than likely be more elements added to it as well. So inside the structure editor, you have a lot of the controls on both sides. They're pretty self-explanatory, but the way in which they work sometimes are not so as intuitive. Now, these mirror modes are in fact that mirror modes. Duplicate will in fact duplicate it, but you must move it after you duplicate it. It will cause problems if you try to leave it there too soon. For too long. Let's see. Now, a little tip. When you rotate an object, it may not appear to rotate until you move it. That's one thing you should know. So to spawn an item, just a random block to start creating a building, you would press Shift A and it'll drop you a square. Now you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in, click to hold to move, translate the view. And you can actually also, before we do anything else, press R so you can scale it up and actually see the control surfaces. So we'll scale it up a little bit in each direction. All right. Now we'll hit W to get back to the move, and we'll move it up a little bit, get it above the surface. Now at this point, we don't have a good view of it. We kind of do, but we don't. So what you can do is when you have an object selected, you can choose focus selection and it'll focus on just that object. Now, as you can tell, all these little bars here on the side will move it in and translate it in that direction. Simple. These are scale icons here, right here. These nodes here. They will scale it, but they will scale it particularly on that one axis, as opposed to when you press R and you can scale it uniformly, So back to W, and then these will scale it particularly on one surface. Now this is for when you're trying to make fine detail movements of it, and you can also change the grid pattern. 0.12 is the lowest you can go, I believe, and the highest you can go is 4. So you can go as 4 of these. You click down to 1, it will go 1 block over, and so on. 1/5 block, 1/25, and then the smallest. Okay, now that we have that, now let's select our object. We'll scale it to something we want now. Now that we have it like that, we have it on the move. We'll focus it again. Now, I'm guessing you're going to fix the overlays so you can see what the shortcuts are, because usually you can just highlight something and see the shortcut for it. Control O to load a custom. Shift O to load a built-in custom. Like I was saying, rotate, right? See, we'll click on rotate. You click on here and you can rotate it on that axis here as well. And these can still scale it. That's why these are so important, because you can still scale the block as you rotate it or move it. Okay, we'll go back to move. Now here's another thing. When you have a block already spawned, you can change the material of the block over here. So we change it to steel now. Then we click again, change it to rock. You'll see it's rock, and then we can change it to wood. Then we can change it to glass. And we'll go ahead and change it back to concrete. With no block selected, you can select the material you would like. Say we want to make a steel block. We'll select the steel block materials. To select the steel material, press Shift A and it will make, then we press R to scale it up so we can see it, unless you want to zoom in really close, but then it's kind of hard to grab the nodes. Oop. And okay, to rotate the camera, you will use the right click to rotate the camera. And so yeah, so this should be made out of steel now. W to move. Okay, now here's another tip. When you're creating a building in this building structure right now, you do not want the parts to intersect with each other, nor do you want the parts to intersect with the ground, because when the physics kick in, then it will instantly start collapsing and exploding and all of that stuff. So I mean, I guess you could make glitched items, I would guess, but I'm guessing at some point they're going to have an update in editor where you will have to turn on or off if you want blocks to translate into each other or not. Now you can also drag select over items, and once you have all of them selected, you can do something as simple as click on rotate, and then once the rotate is up, you can rotate all of them at once, and you can move all of them at once as well. Now I don't believe you can scale. Oh yes, you can scale them all as well too. Okay, what else do we need to cover? Now the copy and paste is very simple. You select something, you can either hit Control C or copy there, and then select over here, say right where your icon is, and you'll choose paste. And now it pasted one right where we were, so which is very similar to selecting an item and hitting duplicate, Shift D, and it'll just duplicate the item. Now as it stands now, when you're creating a building, and say I were to leave these out here and save this as a structure, these would be the building and they would be floating in the world. So now let's build a quick structure. I'll walk you through a quick little building. Shift A will make a block. Hit R and we'll scale it up. And we're gonna make, first we'll make a door. Okay, we have a steel door here. Bring it right down to the deck. Okay, now that we have that, what we'll do is we'll hit Shift D. No, Control D. No, Control. No, Shift D is it? Okay, and we'll hit Shift D. Now we're not going to make another door, so what we'll do is we'll change the material this to rock. And then from there, we'll grab the node and we'll scale it. This will be our wall. Shift D. Then we'll E to rotate, and we'll rotate the whole thing. W to move. Right click to rotate the camera. Okay, there we go. We have a wall right there. Now that we have our wall, what we'll do is simply Shift D, make another wall. E to rotate, we'll rotate the wall again. Back to W to move, rotate our camera. Very simple. Now we have another wall there. We'll just smooth this in just a little bit, make it a little bit more tidy. Now the wall's a little offset, so we can simply grab this inside node here and bring the wall in to make it more flush with the other wall. There we go. Now that that's done, we simply click on this, Shift D again, make another wall. We'll move this one here, E to rotate, we'll rotate it once 90 degrees, back to W to move, and we'll just slide this in place here. That's in place. Now we're having a hard time with the camera, so what we'll do is we'll focus on our selection so we can rotate and zoom on into it. Grab the scaling node and just over there. Now we don't want it to intersect because it will start, imploding and destroying itself before we get to do anything to it. Now that we have that there, instead of duplicating the wall, we'll come away from that. We'll hit Shift A. Look for the nodes, because I'm sure they'll have a spot where you can select where to create the item, but usually when you hit Shift A, just look for these crosses, the 6-way crosses, and you'll know you're there. What we'll normally do is scale ourselves up so we can see a bit. We're going to make ourselves a ceiling, and just to have a bit of fun with it, we'll make this ceiling out of glass. Here we go. Back to W to move. Lift this up and slide this in place. Now, the good thing about the parts actually floating on their own before you touch them means you can build some pretty detailed large structures, and you know, they can be designed any way you want. Now, I have not found how to make curved structures yet. I'm not sure if there will be any curved structures in here. Now that we have this done, we have ourselves a little hut here. Now what I'll do is I'll click over here to name it, and we'll call it Little Hut. Little Hut 1. All right, we'll go ahead and save that. Little Hut 1 is saved to our custom buildings. Now, we don't want just this building to say, so what we'll do is we'll drag select over the whole thing, Shift D. Now that we duplicated it, what we'll do is we'll move it straight up, and we'll make a second story. Now, with that still selected, we'll see if we can get a really good. Well, it'll just float. Actually, I don't know why we need to do it. Just give it right there. That's good. That's good. It's it may be on intersecting. Let's see. Select intersecting and see. Yep, it's intersecting. We don't want that happening. It'll destroy itself before we get to have any fun. Okay, now, are there any intersecting now? None are intersecting. None are overlapping, and they are all non-standard. All right, so what we'll do is we'll select them all, and this will be Little Hut 2. Save that. Now we'll move on to creating a map, and then we'll test this. All right, so hit escape to come on out, and we'll go into our level editor, our layout editor. In the layout editor, quite simple, you have a number of different layouts here. You can click on the arrow and hit load ground. It will load it up. So you can zoom back so you can get a better look. And you can also change the camera. So we'll have a free camera here so we can pull back even further. And yeah, so you can go through these maps. Now, I find the best map for me that I like is Ground 50. It's the biggest one. I know we don't have as much memory to put a lot of buildings, but you can put a lot of things, have a good run for your vehicle. Now that we have a ground set, we can, right here is where we will change the environment settings. And so we'll have different lights and fog. So let's see. Then we have all water. All right, I think we'll go with this one. It seems pretty nice. All right. We can also change the wind and the offset of the sun as well while we're in here. Now on the left side, other than naming your map and you put a description, saving it, workshop is not active yet, nor is browsing the workshop. You can create a new layout. It'll just go back to standard and you'll have to change everything again. You can load one you've already created and load a couple of built ones already in. Now, I would say I've had bad luck with the undo and redo, but you can give it a try. These are the entity types. Just clicking on here will let you know all the different things that you can spawn in here. And now on your own selections, you'll be able to select, exit, and then spawn. On here, you must click through this menu system and find the one you want. Same thing with the built-in structures. There's a number of built-in structures that are already in the game. You can click through this menu system and pull any one of them up, hit add structure, and it'll add it. And now that's the one thing we're waiting for the update on. This is the early beta version. Believe you me, there will be a more proper tutorial once the full version is out. Now, these are all pretty self-explanatory. Select all, select same, select structures, select all entire entities that you spawned, select anything overlap, any things that are connected. And they recently added, let's quick, the grass and rocks. Now, I will warn you, I kind of have a pretty beefy system, but when I clicked on rocks and just default settings, just hits generate, it froze up the game and it crashed. Now you can go for grass. That's pretty good. I tend to lower these just a bit after that first initial crash of the rocks. I'm guessing update will soon fix that. We'll do it just a little bit. There we go. And then hit generate, give it a bit of time. Okay, generating rocks and grass. Now there will be grass on the edges of things now, and there's a bit of low level rocks that really just add to the aesthetic. Now let's get on to the buildings that we've created. Now the custom, we can go right into here and, oh well, these are maps actually. Go into custom structures. Custom structures will be the ones where you have created. We'll have Little Hut 1. So we'll select Little Hut 1. Little Hut 1 and spawn, and there we are. There's our little hut. Now we can actually, before we go and test it, we have to name the map as well. So what we'll name this map Tester 1. And for the boom, because we're going to destroy all of this stuff. So, and then we click on save, and now it's saved with this one structure. And so we'll hit the sandbox over here in the lower right, and that'll instantly take it on over to the test phase, since we already have our burst flame scorpion here. Oh, camera's on free mode. There we go. All right, let's go take a destroy of it. Straight through it. Oh, what do you know? We have another one over there. Things are gonna get exploding. And it's really that simple, and then you have a map and you have yourself buildings. So it's just a quick and dirty tutorial. I would say get in there, fool around for a bit, and when they put the full one out there, we'll have a full detailed tutorial so we understand all of the controls, and that way we can create some islands of doom. All right, you guys be good, take it easy. Please hit that like and subscribe. We're trying to grow. I will catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. Arkane Infinity. Thanks again for tuning in. Like and subscribe for the win. Hit the notifications to stay informed when. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are wonderful until the end. Well, that is it. Our next goal is 500 subscribers. You think you can get me there? I really need it. I mean, geez. But thanks for watching this long.